Going down in the submersible was really a dream come true for me. As a Bahamian who has studied animal life in the deep oceans all over the world, from Japan, the USA, Sweden, being able to finally come back to the Bahamas and do my very first sub dive in the Bahamas was a special treat. And it's really important to understand what's down there partly because our activities are going deeper and deeper. The Bahamas is starting to look at extracting oil off its southern banks in deep water. We dredge for sand in deep water. People go fishing in deep water, and yet we don't really know what's down there or what those activities might be doing in the deep ocean. So it's really important to understand it from that perspective. But from a scientific perspective, the Bahamas sits at a really interesting place between the Caribbean Sea and the USA, and so we're this kind of transition zone. So it's a really interesting place to understand how animals disperse throughout the ocean.
In the past year, we've been placing GoPro cameras on the front of every submersible when it goes down Exuma Sound, and when it comes up, we have a record of the entire dive from start to finish. And using those cameras, we can relate the video footage to sightings of different organisms. So for instance, Dean Grubbs from Florida State University Coastal Marine Lab and Travis Richards can go through that footage and look for midwater fishes as the sub is descending or ascending. And they can document species that we've previously not documented in Exuma Sound, some of which we really can't identify below maybe the family level. And then we can send this footage off to folks like Dr. Charles Messing at Nova Southeastern and Sandra Brook, also at Florida State University, and have them identify different species of corals and sponges and different invertebrates that appear on the bottom.
I work on the feather stars and sea lilies, the crinoids, which are related to starfish and sea urchins. We found one species that will help solve a taxonomic problem, another that was never before recorded alive, and we also found a soft coral, a white whip, that may be a new species. So all of this will go into understanding the environment here, better managing it, and who knows what the future will hold.
What you really appreciate being in the sub is the landscape down there. So the walls of these cliffs are so steep. All kinds of really cool and weird stuff that we're still trying to work up right now and make sense of.
We found deep water coral reefs. We've found benthic fishes lying in the sediment, waving little lures in front of their face, waiting for prey to come by to ambush them. Along the wall, we see this incredible mosaic of soft corals leading up to hard corals. We see a lot of sponges, some of which are very ancient, the glass sponges, for example. And they're just beautiful, especially when you put it in the context of sort of how difficult it's been for that organism to survive in that extreme environment. We're excited to be working with such an incredible group of collaborators on this project to document the habitats that do occur between 100 feet down to 1,000 meters. And we're really excited to start analyzing that footage over the course of the next year and hopefully put some data to what we've been seeing from the subs and ultimately share those results with folks in the Bahamian government as well as elsewhere.
One of the things that we were able to do on this expedition was get really accurate maps of the deep sea habitat down here around South Eleuthera. And that's really important because when you're working in an area that's so steep and has such rugged terrain, it's really important to know the lay of the land. And those underwater maps are going to allow us to do more and more work here in the future.